Wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever it is, whatever time it is, let's see if you can all get me. And welcome to the stream. Come out the stream of time and place into the stream of Dhamma. So welcome again. And it's been a while. So we'll start in the traditional way. We'll offer a salutation to the Triple Gem, and then maybe 10, 12 minutes or so of meditation or something like that. And then if there's interest, I could say a few words. Okay. Yo so bhagava arahang samma sambuddho suakato yena bhagavata dhammo supatipanno yasa bhagavato savaka sangho Namayam Bhagavantang Sadhammang Sasangang Imehi Sangarehi Yatarahanga Ropitehi Yabepujayama Sadhu no Bande Bhagava Sujira Parini Utopi Vajima Janatanugam Manasa Ime Sangamare Dokatapana Karabunde Patiganhatu Maham Di Haratam Hidaya Sukhaya Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantang Abhivadi Suakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namassami Supatipanno Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Vandamayam Buddhasa Bhagavato Bhagavakanamakaranam Gurumasi Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so let's take a few moments. Meditation, at least the Buddhist meditation, the word jhana and jayati is the verb, and jhana is the noun that comes from having established this properly. You know, it's one of those terms that you will get quite intense around because it's being presented as a way of kind of fixating on an object, and this is not the way the Buddha taught it. He says that you can do this, but he didn't recommend it. And so it begins first of all just with disengagement. So we just let go of the sense realm. Let's take some time and keep your eyes half open, because you don't want to just go into your mental sense. So you see what I mean? So normally if you close your eyes, you go into your mind sense, but you don't want to be engaged with that either. Keep your eyes slightly open, downcast. So you're not in, you're not out. You're sort of poised between the inner and the outer world. And it's light. And your practice is to steady your attention, so it's not running out, not running in, not jumping up and down, not searching for something, but just poised. And in fact, soothe it by widening it. So you might say the entire visual field, which auditory, all the senses, as if you're kind of opening the whole lot up internally. That is, you're opening up the sensitivity of awareness, but not focusing on any particular object. If that sounds complicated, you could try being aware of your entire body, the space around you. Listening with the eyes open but not engaged. Your attention, most people's attention would be quite used to moving fast, to this, to that, to this, to that, to this, to that. So you take a long out breath. See if you can spread your attention over the entire out breath. And in fact, if you can make it longer, so for breathing out by relaxing your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your face, and the sides of your body, your ribs. You could relax that. That will help the breath to go longer. And also, all that helps your attention, gives it, slows it down a bit. Let your in-breath happen naturally. And when your out-breath begins, a little more attention to that, to relax your body, your skin, your face, and then lengthening it. So you're lengthening something that's kind of slightly stretchy. End of the exhalation. Wait till it's really finished. So if you're letting go of that stretchy material, opening, allow the inhalation. Not too much effort on it. Smooth. When you get more familiar with that, get a sense with as the inhalation comes in and fills you up, there's this felt shape. You could say if your body's like a balloon. And as your breathing fills it up, sense something lightly expanding and not holding back, letting it lightly expand. And you connect your mind to that just by the act of placing your mind, your attention on that experience. The whole experience, that is, rhythm, the spaciousness, the quality of it, not just the sensation, but the quality of spaciousness, fluidity, relaxing, with this thread of sensation acting as the trace that you can sense. Don't get too tight on that one. It's really just about changing the atmosphere. And perhaps getting a feeling for body, which is much more to do with how the breathing shapes it internally. Fluid.
Ama chaloka dipati sahampati katan jaliyan diwaram ayachata santi dasahata haraja kajatika dese to Dhamman anukam himan pajan.
Wonderful. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So one thread that runs through all the Buddha's teaching is karma, action, principle of karma, cause and effect. And that karma is based upon something called chitta, which is generally translated as intention or volition. But it also, we can look at that as inclination, impulse, interest, that movement that turns us one way or another, that movement that turns the mind, good or bad, interest, intention, inclination. And that's what's moving us along. And this is a mental or chitta condition. That's why it's called chetana. It's very much associated with chitta. So what is it that's moved? You could say the heart is moved. One feels elated, excited. There's a certain ethical quality to it. There's a certain emotional quality to it. One is kind of reluctantly, sluggishly moved, moved backwards or forwards, dithers, but it moves. So unfortunately, the word intention, that translation makes it sound as if it's all very deliberately figured out, but most of it is not deliberately figured out at all. But none of it is. It's an irrational reflex that picking up. You know, so this, of course, was one of the Buddha's great realizations on his night of awakening. He realized there's such a thing as good and bad intentions, and they give rise to different forms of existence. And so this is karma rebirth, but actually you can take it much closer than that, much more microcosmic, much more here and now than that. You can recognize that the nature of impulse drives you in a particular direction and forms you. We become, say, eager, and there's a certain movement forms us in that way. Now, mostly your attention goes on to the thing that you're aiming for. Could be I'm aiming to get something done, or like a project. So I'm eager to do that, or I'm pressing hard at it to get it done. It's mostly aimed at doing something or having something. I want that piece of sandwich or a cup of coffee or something. So it focuses on the object, either the object is going to have, or the object is going to do, or of course the object is going to resist and push away, something I could push away and resist from occurring. And so those are the kind of fluctuations. And we look around then there's an ethical quality to that, whether it's associated with I want to help out, looks like somebody needs some help here, or I'm getting mine, want to get something for myself, or got to get this done, don't really want to do it, but I'm supposed to do it. So it could be reluctant, it could be mingled, some good, some bad, it could be high intention, it could be low intention. And naturally, there's a certain habit that occurs with that, because these set up certain trajectories. We get results from that, and that bounces back because it's felt. Results are felt. Now, and this actually moves people along, and it gives shape to one's life. Who you associate with, what kind of occupations you take on. So it's naturally it becomes pretty crucial. Most people are trying to get it together, to find a kind of a reasonably pleasant, stable way of being, in terms of their occupations and in terms of themselves. We want to have a fairly, stable core, stable mind. We don't want to be continually confused and erratic. We want to have sort of stable core presence. We want the heart to be, I know where I am. I know what I want to be solid. And so this is an underlying intention behind all the others. There's an intention not just to have or do, but how to feel more solid, more in charge, more going the right way, you know, me. Right? You know, how do I get me? I don't want to have nothing to do. I feel really confused. I've got no job. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. I don't like that. I want to be something very definite and purposeful. I want to be the captain of my ship. Yeah. So this inclination is called bhava, the inclination to become something, to form something, to solidify. And you know, it can, like any kind of intention, it can be based upon confusion, wrong views, delusion. People kind of solidify around dogma, solidify around political ideologies, solidify around religious beliefs, all kinds of stuff. They make themselves solid by adopting something and believing in it and holding it. And therefore, they, in a way, that shapes their lives. And someone who's deeply embedded in a certain dogma, ideology, or doctrine will become see everything from that viewpoint. And as you know, with political ideologies, it becomes so that you can't actually hear another viewpoint. You can't tolerate it. You can't. You've got to. It's either they're wrong. There can't be a tolerance around that. Yeah. So this is when I was. So you see, it was very fully become. Yeah. And there's a certain horrifying solidity it creates. You know, because there's no room for anybody else's viewpoint in that. And so we see, you know, that this is playing out in this very life. We are becoming something that shapes what we're able to take in, shapes who we're with, shapes how we react to other people. Oh, she's one of those, you know, because she's not in my team. She's of that strange religion or whatever, because she's not in my group. Different nationalities and so forth. So these are the things that people become. And there's a real irrational, well, understandable instinct to want to solidify. And the Buddha said this is something you've got to be very careful around. He said the best kind of thing you can become is become disengaged. Become steady in your own heart, disengaged from fascination with the senses, disengaged from belief, but steady in your own heart. And he said, this is the process of meditation. Takes you there. Takes you to that. Yeah. Now, it sounds kind of contradictory as an idea. How can you be stabilized in disengagement? Well, we were just doing it. This is, you know, and this is, we were just doing it. Meaning that you don't necessarily switch off the senses, but you don't go into them either. They're just there. Your thinking mind is there, but you don't go into that. You don't do any of the kind of localized senses, sight, sound, touch. Yeah. You just kind of hover, neither in them nor out of them. This is called disengagement. And and then you can recognize the kind of the impulses to figure something out, the mind want to grab hold of something, and just keep disengaging from it. It's such a subtle point that mostly people will find they really need some support. And so we say, okay, just let the breathing, your own body breathing, be there as a kind of as a support that will stop your mind engaging with this and that and this and that and this and that. He said, this is So if you use the breathing and steady in that, it takes you into the somatic domain, the inner body, and it gets very refined in there. It gets it's a tricky process, because when we come into the somatic domain, that's you say the nervous energy of the body. This is where we experience our old karma. This is where karma begins and ends. Yeah. So as you experience the old karma, that is the results of the kind of way your mind's been operating. Sometimes it's extremely tense in there, or it's jangly, or it's abysmal. It's like it's got no substance to it. And these are the results of what one has been engaged with. Now, we can think it's my fault, but that's really not what the teaching is about. The Buddha says either from your own intentions or from the intentions of other people. In other words, you've been trained, you've been directed to pick up certain intentions. And so, being socialized creatures, we all adopt certain actions, certain ways of behavior, customs, behaviors, and most will adopt certain fundamental social attitudes: work hard, compete, get to the top, do the best you can. That kind of quality. And there's no limit to that. The best you can is always a little bit better than yesterday. There's no enough to it. So it can just, because it's this notion, isn't it? It's like, how long is a piece of string? As long as you stretch it. So and then very much a social current that we're in is generally encouraging consumer progress, more, in a word, more of everything. More and more diverse. So more hobbies, more movies, more news, more books, more theatre, more occupations, more knowledge, more diversity, and faster. So that's what we input, and then we output, do more to cover it all. The results of this are not good. Even if the intention is relatively innocent, it still means that we inherit results of an extremely hyper aroused state as a norm, in which the normal rhythm of the body, which is to breathe in and breathe out, in other words, we take in and we release, bodies do that. We stand up and we sit down, we wake up and then we go to bed, switch off. You've got this rhythm of up and down, in and out, which is the fundamental life signal that has been adjusted till there's no out. There's no down. It's like sun goes up and down, we switch the light on. So we've got permanent light. And so this is the kind of result when intentionality of the mind is hyper. It doesn't turn down. And the thinking mind, of course, doesn't know what that is. The body knows what it is. Bodies know how to do that. But the nature of social life is it's about, you go out of the body, into the screen, into the book, into the conversation, into the project, into the future, into the next thing to do. And so it takes you away from organic bodily life. When we practice meditation, we're coming back into bodily life using the bodily rhythm. And it's touch and go, because when you enter that, you're generally going to experience the train wreck or the chaos of the hyper state, which can fluctuate. So people can't sleep or have irregular sleep or go through crashes. We doesn't properly, smoothly coordinate. That's why mindfulness of breathing is just it's a leveler. It's for somatic health, and the somatic health connects directly to the heart, health of chitta, and that affects intentions. Now, the point is that chitta, which generally translated as mind, but I use heart basically because it's non-conceptual in itself. It's non-conceptual. It just produces, it's directed by pleasure and pain. It's directed by impulses. It's directed by meanings, how things touch me, which I can't rationalize. I can't say why I find something beautiful. That's not a rational experience. That's an intuitive experience. I can't explain it, but it touches me. This is what chitta touches. Chitta is aroused or retracts or shivers or prickles or jumps. That's the creature. That is directly related to this somatic experience, which is of course non-conceptual as well, isn't it? Body reflexes are non-conceptual, but they're also extremely honest. If you feel frightened, your body tells you you feel frightened. You can't, whether you believe it or not, you can feel it. So when we feel happy, it opens up. So when we're coming into this, you recognize there's a fundamental unity or coordination between chitta, heart, and body. So then if the body somatic experience is smoothed and steadied, that's going to smooth and steady the chitta. The smooth and steady chitta then is, so this is what one aspect of meditation called samatha, samadhi, is smoothing and steadying the chitta. Now, this, we recognize also that as you cultivate this, your sense of your body, for example, is different as you experience it in meditation than from what you see with your eyes or your notion. So you kind of abandon a lot of the ideas of what you look like or shape and so on, hair, teeth. Right now there's just sense of something warm, pressurized, expanding, releasing, with all these various turbulent energies in them. But you keep to the big picture, don't go in. And this is, say, where maybe a lot of meditation teaching, unfortunately, in my opinion, focuses on attention. And attention, that is the ability to form an object. So really to get attention on to scrutinizing experiences, like a fairly detailed scrutiny of experiences. So we're really so there's a fairly kind of focused, concentrated attention, and we call it concentration. But you don't find this mentioned in the suttas. There's no concentration. That's not what samadhi is. Attention should be there to support the intention. So your attention is just soft. So you're not focusing on an object because you don't need to focus on an object. You want to feel what's happening in terms of your chitta, your heart, not what your heart's pointing to, but what the heart feels like. And you can read that using the mirror of the breathing body. Right? So you're not looking for particular points in the body as such, but opening the body so it acts like a mirror. You can say, oh, I'm pretty tense because it feels quite tight here. Yeah. So your body will give you immediate reflection on the state of your chitta. So it's not being on the end of your nose or being in a particular physical location. It's like when you look in a mirror, you don't look in a particular corner, you look in the whole thing. Oh, that's me, right? You know, it's not like one particular corner of the mirror is any better than any other. Most important thing is to get the mirror and then clean it up. That's me. That's kind of what you're doing when you meditate. You open the thing up, feel it, and it's a felt experience, and feel how it operates, breathing through it. And this is going to show you the chitta in its confused state or its hindered state, and it will tend to steady it. And oh yeah, this is making me, because this is also an aspect of chitta, the sense of me, a little more solid and comfortable. And so the Buddha said, this is the best kind of becoming. Yeah. And you can firm it up. And this is what these jhanas are about. So the first jhana isn't even called concentration. It just says the first jhana is disengagement. So you're not focusing on any particular object. It's called viveka, disengaged from sense objects. So you, including your thinking, obsessive thinking, and then a quality called vitakka vichara, which is placing and sensing. So you place your awareness on the body and sensing, vitakka vichara. And when that's steadied, what starts to occur is a quality of ease and refreshment. So when these are established, this is what we call the first jhana. Yeah. And you can firm that up and it can refine and so forth, but let's not go into that right now. And he said, this, if you sustain this is where you can let go or change or put aside becoming a firm identity. Now, how does this relate to karma? Now, something again that is obvious in many ways, but generally not noticed, is that until you meditate, is your chitta has a kind of shape to it. You know, has a shape to it. We talk about being broad-minded or narrow-minded. Why do we say broad or narrow? You feel the shape. It's not a visual shape, it's a felt shape. You say, I feel pretty stretched. Yeah. I feel heavy, weighed down. Yeah. So what's happening? You get is a felt shape there. Yeah. A felt impression. And based upon that felt impression, this affects the nature of the intention. So the depressed, flattened chitta the intentions that arise out of it, the actions, the inclinations, the impulses that rise out of it are flattened and depressed. Because that's where they came from. The angry chitta, when it's prickly and bristling, or you know what that one feels like, you feel like a tight and hard. Guess what comes out of that? Intentions and impulses that have that same quality. Yeah. So the form of your chitta dictates the kind of intentions that will come out, the impulses that come out, the inclinations that readily come out, and that sets the whole karmic thing wheel rolling, right? Now, if you can moderate the shape of your chitta, so if you're in a light, steady state, then there's not a lot of knives running out of your chitta, are there? It's generally quite benign, mellow. It's not got a big hang up about anything. It's not obsessed with anything. It's not trying to make something happen. It's light, it's at ease. The intentions that arise will probably be to do with lightness and ease. That's just the way it goes. And so, and then you become, or that particular, that's becomes your, that's who you, that's what you become. You become the result of that. And he said, this is just really helpful to know, because you want to look at what in, rather than get your intentions figured out, I should do this, so they agree, I should do that, so he's approved, I'm going to make sure I get that done on time, where we're always measuring our intentions from the abstract point of view. The should and shouldn't, the right and wrong, the approved and disapproved, the quick, the easiest, what's the convenient, what's the comfortable, what's the cheapest, what's the most useful. We're measuring it in terms of abstract qualities, right? What do you think that's going to do? Yeah, you're living an abstract life. There's no ground in it. There's no earth element. There's no living quality to it. It's abstracted. And your energy is going into abstractions which they can't support you because they're not alive, right? Abstractions like being interesting, being popular, being useful. I mean, what do those mean as experiences when you feel them? Most of these mean a certain amount of strain, a certain amount of pressure, a certain amount of obligation, a certain amount of got to make it happen, a certain amount of anxiety that I'm not getting it right, right? That's what they mean as felt experiences. So now you look at, is it possible to have an intention which doesn't have those negative effects, doesn't strain, doesn't, yeah? And so he said, well, if you get your chitta in the right shape, you notice what kind of intentions arise from that. They're light, flexible, interested, comfortable. Well, why don't you listen up to that? Notice these. See what you can touch. See what you can bring out from these bases. This is good karma. So with meditation, then you begin to be able to reset some of these intentions, which are they're reflexes. This is why you can't you can't reset your mind by ideologies, by thinking. You only reset it by going back to the basis of the mind, which is in the body. The roots of the mind are in the body. That's why we have a mind. It's there to help to get through life, a body life. Chitta comes into this body. So the nature of chitta is to sustain awareness of the body in a cooperative relationship with the world around. But then we're using this body to notice. Clearing. And a lot of meditation is just about cleaning and clearing and cleaning. No other intention than that. But the results are certain intentions no longer fit. Abusiveness, intoxication just doesn't fit. Lying is unpleasant. If you tell a lie, you feel a real sense of shame. Because, so by itself, it's a self-healing program that doesn't use judgment to heal, doesn't use you should be better to heal, doesn't use you're not good enough to heal. It just uses this feels healthy and certain intentions drop away. Now, so this is the way we use it to meditation to go to the basis of what's going to steer our life. Reviewing it, you can also recognize this quality of chitta is bound up, is associated with bodily conditions, intentions, habits, social programming. There's no person in here. You don't need to have an identity. You don't need to have an identity to breathe in and out. It's kind of irrelevant, You don't need to have an identity to walk up and down. It gets in the way, in fact. So you begin to be able to slip out of the identity packet, which is where the socialized and indoctrinated karma lies. And this is touching into the truth of not self. Means you don't have to have a fixed identity. You're better off without it. Because then, instead of operating in terms of what I'm supposed to be, what I should be, and what other people want me to be, I'll operate in terms of good intention. I know what it is and feel it. So I offer this for your reflection this evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is for you.
Annamayam Dhammakataya Sadhu Karanda Dhammase Sadhu 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 Anumodhani.
So take a zip off to the next thing. Just hang for a few minutes and let things settle down. So there might be a few phrases or ideas or moments in that you want to linger over, because that's certainly part of meditative process, is to learn to linger and see what's touched, whatever's touched, useful, what hasn't touched, let it pass. and stay open. Okay, we'll sign off for the evening or morning, wherever it is, with our salutation to the Triple Gem. And my interest, my intention, as always, is to help to sustain Dhamma, and for those who are interested, to pick up what we can out of this dialogue, out of this session. And so I'm intending to keep these going on a weekly basis for at least a month or two. So hope that's useful for you, and it's something you can check in on. So Dhamma Sambodho Bhagava Mundam Bhagavantam Abhivadi Vakato Bhagavatam Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangha